Are you ready?
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
I was right.
The Sixers won the game.
Let's go!
I'm the best.
And here are your hosts, Jessica Town and Rob Lange.
You're a jackass.
Embrace the madness.
God, how I've missed all of you. That's how excited I am. Welcome into episode 90 of The Madness. It has been quite some time, ladies and gentlemen, but I am happy to be back. Jess has been with you a couple times. Rob Lange, Jessica Town. Jess, I've missed you.
I've missed you too.
It's not as much fun just arguing over text message the night of the draft or other things. It's just not as much fun to do it without being face-to-face.
You're right, it's not. It's so much more fun this way.
It really is. And episode 90, Jess. 90.
90.
We are 10 episodes away from the vaunted number of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty inspiring stuff right there. Pretty inspiring stuff right there.
We're killing it.
We're killing it. Anyway, The Madness brought to you by ProSportsNotes.com, powered by WildfireRadio.com. You can catch us on Wildfire Radio every Friday, 9 to 11. It's been a while. I got to remember my call letters here.
Yeah, figure it out.
Make sure you are following us both on Twitter at Philly_Madness, at RunThisTown13. And what's the other Twitter handle?
At JT_Media LLC.
JT_Media LLC. That is Jessica Town Media, which is killing the game right now. It's getting all our articles up there. The podcast episodes are showing up. So doing big things, Jess.
Can we talk about how there's a tweet right now? This just caught my eye.
Already.
Multiple NBA teams have interest in pairing Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I bet you all.
Thank you.
How many teams are in the NBA?
Thank you. 30.
Okay, all 30 of them.
Thank you.
I believe want that to be the case right now. Thank you for nothing, jackass. A lot of jackasses out there these days. It is, as most people call when free agency in these sports starts, silly season. Start hearing a lot of things, and there has obviously been a ton about our Philadelphia 76ers. We'll get to all that soon enough, but a couple other things. Shop.prosportsnotes.com. I know we haven't had anything new in a while, but I think we'll get some new stuff rolling, especially if the Sixers run it back. I think that could be a way to go.
Chills.
The Eagles are less than 30 days away from training camp. And we've had
29.
We've had to remind ourselves that because of the Phillies over the last 3.5 weeks, although
Hey.
last 2 nights, things are looking up.
We got lucky bamboo. We're fine.
We got bamboo. Oh, okay. As it literally says on at Run This Town 13, we have lucky bamboo. Did you buy a bamboo plant yet?
I haven't, but we're going to get one for our apartment.
As you should.
100%.
You damn well should. I would get one, but I'm afraid my kids would try and beat each other with the bamboo, so I don't think I can do it.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, it's an absolute fair assumption. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, so listen, today is going to be heavily Sixers talk, free agency right around the corner. I guess Monday starts is it a tampering period? What is the way they do? They can't sign the contracts till the 6th, but they could start negotiating and coming to deals on the 1st. It's something weird.
Well, it's June 30th at 6 p.m.
June 30th at 6. So we're right around the corner. A few days away from today. We will hopefully have a better idea of what 76ers team will be coming back. Shocking, I have been up and down in this. I have been really high and excited when our good friend Remy is in videos with Jimmy Butler. And then the news of the last couple days kind of brings you back down to earth that really anything can happen. But to get a better insight on this, we're going to go to, hopefully, Keith Pompey here in the next few minutes, who covers the Sixers for PhillyNews.com. Is that what the website is now? They change it
all the time.
Yeah, so
I have no idea.
I'm gonna search it just to make sure because I don't want to.
Don't insult him.
At Philly Inquirer, at Locked On Sixers Podcast Hopes. Okay, so he's writing for the Philly Inquirer. Has an interesting article that the number one priority of the Sixers this year should be make sure they know what to do with Ben Simmons. Not anything with free agency. It should be all about Ben. But we're going to talk to Keith about the Jimmy Butler situation, the Rockets rumors that are out there, Tobias, JJ, where the Sixers go if they lose one or both of these guys. Is there a plan in place? And I want to ask him, because he's around this team a lot, Is Elton Brand's "it'll all make sense soon" comment, is that, don't worry, I have a plan? Or is that, I'm a general manager, I'm going to give you the general manager speech just to keep everybody off my case till I figure out what the hell's going on? Curious what he thinks that line meant. But Jess.
Yep.
I'm sad, Jess.
Oh, why? Oh, already. Here.
I'm sad, Jess.
It took 5.5 minutes.
It's been a month. I haven't been sad, so I'm sad. This Jimmy Butler thing has me really concerned. Where are you, Jess?
Other
than texting.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get people to join us live here.
As you should.
Excuse me. You are the worst. I didn't miss you.
You did. You missed it all. Who are you kidding?
You were the worst.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's so here's the thing. You know, all of this stuff that's come out so far about Jimmy Butler and the Rockets, or, you know, whatever, that's all coming from Houston. Like, that's not
It's not coming from Jimmy, it's not coming from Philly.
No, it's coming from
Daryl
Houston.
Morey.
And here's the thing. I mean, it's really gonna, if they get Jimmy Butler down there, it's going to be more of a dumpster fire than it was before.
Totally agree.
Because
took the words right out of my mouth.
James Harden, plays the worst style of basketball ever. Like, I hate watching James Harden play basketball. I absolutely hate it. Because there's nothing entertaining to me about standing in one spot and dribbling until the shot clock is at 8, and then driving and worrying more about drawing a foul and flopping than actually making it. Like, I can't stand it. And obviously you see that it doesn't get them anywhere. Then you put Chris Paul in there, who is notoriously one of the worst teammates in the NBA. As you can also see, and you continue to see, not that great down there with a ridiculous contract. So then you add Jimmy Butler, who we know can possibly have a volatile personality if he's not happy with what's going on. You can have a guy who loves to have the ball in his hands, needs to have the ball in his hands, and one of the things that was coming out now we talked about this with some of the different stories that have come out about Philly athletes. There's always a little bit of truth to everything. Nothing is just pulled out of someone's butt, completely made up. There is a glimmer of truth to everything. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a glimmer of truth to Chris Paul not being happy that he doesn't touch the ball nearly enough. There is some truth to that. So when there's already a problem with just two people, add Jimmy Butler into that, and that's not going to go overly well.
Look, I'm all about the idea of 3 stars on a team. I get that. I think it works.
They have to be different players.
But they have to be different players is right. And to me, I get the connection of Houston being Jimmy's hometown and all that.
Right.
I get that. Makes sense.
Understood.
But I don't, the GM out there, that Daryl Morey, is supposed to be the genius.
Right.
What is the genius move? Teaming up 3 ball-dominant players. And not only that, 3 ball-dominant players that are now into their getting into their 30s.
Right.
Look, Chris Paul can't play a full season anymore. I mean, it just doesn't happen. He never had, So it doesn't make a ton of sense. It makes sense that Houston would put this out there to try and push the Sixers' hand. But once again, unless Jimmy Butler comes to the Sixers and says, I'm not going to play here, but I want the money if you could do a sign and trade to get something back. To me, the Sixers can offer $50 million more dollars than any team. The Sixers were a quadruple doink away from overtime in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals to the, oh, by the way, now NBA champion Toronto Raptors. They were there. They were close. And they had an awful bench. Imagine if they're able to build the bench with what they had.
Right. And especially if Kawhi leaves the East.
That's what I mean.
If Kawhi leaves the East,
you're wide open.
And Kevin Durant doesn't exist in the NBA for a year, it's wide open. Kyrie doesn't scare me. Anthony Davis and LeBron doesn't scare me. It doesn't.
No,
I'm sorry,
no.
It doesn't. Anthony Davis does not pose any sort of a threat to Joel Embiid.
If you don't have Joel Embiid, maybe.
Right.
But right now I want to talk to somebody who is really tuned into all this stuff, covering the Sixers for the Philly Inquirer. That is Keith Pompey. Keith, thanks for joining the Madness with Rob and Jess today. Or not. We lost him. Maybe it wasn't him.
Ah.
Well, we get fooled like that every time. I feel like I got somebody.
Maybe it's just you.
Oh, thanks.
I'm kidding.
What
It
were
was
we
a joke.
saying?
We were talking about
I'm off again.
Anthony Davis and LeBron.
Yeah, I look. Yeah, so they're going to win some more games. They'll probably be a contender in the West, but they're not a
That's
team.
only because Klay Thompson isn't going to play until March.
Fair.
Like, that has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that, like, the
wanna
Warriors
talk-
might be a little bit lower.
I know it's a little off topic right now, but you want to talk about a team that got snake bitten at the worst possible time by injury?
Okay, when Klay went down, I physically felt nauseous.
I did too.
I physically felt nauseous.
Especially because of how he was playing.
Let me explain this to you. That was the day of my dress rehearsal for the dance studio.
Mm-hmm.
Single-handedly the most stressful day of my year, always. It's not the day of the recital that I'm stressed. It is the day of dress rehearsal because that is when the issues happen. That's when we work out the kinks. That's when we see what's wrong. That's when the tension's running high. People are running around like it's just so unbelievably stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up at like 6 a.m. staring at my ceiling because I was panicked. My entire day, that's all I was thinking about. I drive down to Delaware. We go through dress rehearsal. It was a long night. All right. It was just a long night. I called my dad and at 9 o'clock when I was leaving, and I was like, Dad, please I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to order me a cheesesteak. I want a cheesesteak when I get home. 10 minutes later, he calls back and is like, I'm so sorry. They're closed. I can't get you a cheesesteak. And I was so upset. So I came home. I was all sad. I was sitting there eating a meal that I was not excited to be eating.
What was it?
I made myself a cheesesteak, a chicken cheesesteak with chicken my mom had made for dinner, which was, it was good, but it wasn't what
But it's not what you wanted. You wanted that greasy cheesesteak on the big roll.
Onions and I needed the
need the
onions and
that's
the
a-
peppers and I needed it all. I needed all of it, and I wanted all of it
Give me
really
the damn
badly.
steak and cheese.
You're so picky. You're what's your favorite kind of sandwich again?
Cheese sandwich.
With?
Some mayo and mustard on there.
Yeah, there it is.
Though I haven't had one in like a month.
Good for you.
Drinking water, being healthy.
Proud of you. And I was sitting there, and I was already just so sad and deflated of my day. And then that happened, and I literally was just like nauseous, physically nauseous. It hurt me so bad. And then he came back out, and I was like, this man really tried to get back on defense. And I know there's torn ACL in there.
Yeah, did you see the way his knee went?
That was
it.
I watched it, and I was like, yeah, that's the ACL. That's where the ACL is.
Yeah, it was a shame. I mean, all the credit to the Raptors. The Raptors still played unbelievable and deserved the win. And I thought Nick Nurse coached a good NBA Finals. But, I'm not of the mindset that a lot of Sixers fans had, which was, if we would have just beat the Raptors, we would have won the NBA championship.
I don't know how long we would have gotten there, at least.
Maybe. I think they matched up better with Milwaukee. But, listen. I look at this Sixers team as presently constructed, meaning what was on the floor last year. And I say to myself, there needs to be, yes, they were close, but there needs to be more off the bench.
Uh-huh.
There needs to be more, to me, look, I love J.J. Redick, and I want him on this team. But I am really the guy that wants J.J. Redick coming off the bench for this team.
I'm with you there.
I want a two-guard who can shoot the ball, but has to be able to play a little bit more defense and match up against some of these two guards. Yeah. I mean, Danny, look, this offseason, right, we all thought last year was the big one, right? This is the big one.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
There was one person.
Yes.
There was one person out there. Paul George, was out there. He said 2 weeks before free agency opened that he wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
It was one person and the possibility of being able to trade for Kawhi.
Yeah, and I mean, this one has really opened itself up because of the position that the Sixers have put themselves in by making the in-season trades for Tobias.
Getting those expiring contracts.
And then the draft comes. Okay, and I know that, we're somewhat on the same page,
We
but
weren't.
We weren't. And here was the issue I had. Have you ever gotten yourself so tunnel visioned on one guy that when that one guy doesn't happen,
it's happened to you twice.
You're
in the
devastated.
Last two drafts this year. It's happened to you twice.
Okay, Montez Sweat was my guy. was my guy.
I just had too many beers to be able to function.
Yeah, you
with
were
the-
not
with the
functioning at
draft
that point. It was a little intoxicated that night. That's okay.
Again, so stressed about an event that I just decided to enjoy said event.
Yeah.
And I had a great time.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Everyone at Xfinity knows that.
You make it sound like I did something like completely rambunctious to like embarrass myself in front of all of Xfinity. I didn't. I was just,
It makes
happy.
for better radio to put that perception out there. Then people are like,
I don't want
yo,
people to
we got to
think that I
hang
was,
with the
like,
man.
Nuts.
I mean,
At
it just-
Xfinity, I'm a good time. It's fine.
All right. Well, there you go.
all I
So
need to know.
going into this draft, I was hell-bent. And I wanted, and I've mentioned it on this show, and I felt like I was a good person to talk to because I watched almost every one of his games last year. And that was Cam Johnson. It's who I wanted.
So I wanted to.
I wanted nothing but me. I wanted some Cam Johnson here. And when he went 11, I won't forget, I was upstairs in my room putting clothes away, and when I heard his name get called, I have the deflatement I felt. That's not even a word, but I'm creating it. The deflatement I felt in that moment was, I'm not even exaggerating, was very similar to the deflatement of the quadruple doink. Because then I said to myself, honestly, and this is because of all the drafts since the process started, I said to myself this: how are they going to screw this up now? That was my first thought. How do they blow this now? And when they trade up to 20, in my head I said, all right, they're going to go on the athleticism of a Nasir Little, who should have been drafted earlier. I wasn't crazy about getting Nasir Little, but his athleticism is absurd. And when I heard Matisse Thybulle, all I had been told going into this draft was great defensive player, very limited offensive player. Which, okay, but to me, when you look down your bench, I want a guy who could come in and score a little bit, because part of the issue was when the Sixers went to the bench this year, the lulls started.
Sure.
And that's where my frustration. But I've grown. Thybulle, I love the kid. Every one of his answers to every question is unbelievable. His story is incredible. I'm pissed that the number 4 is retired in Philadelphia. That really
Well,
upsets
do you think
me.
he's going to wear 22 because 2 plus
2 plus 2
equals
equals 4. I mean, I love the kid.
Well,
and
give me Jimmy Butler back and give me someone who wants to wear 24. And our 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 all done.
yeah. And 24 could be, who knows?
I don't know. There's no one exciting that wears 24 that's a free agent or anything, or that I would be excited
Kobe's
about.
still out there.
Stop. But yeah, so and that's, I was fighting with so many people on social media after that draft pick, because it's one of the guys that, it wasn't the, Washington's not the sexy school, right? And I will say, I do seriously sit there and I do constantly make the joke that, I never want to see another player drafted from Washington ever again, because we've had the Sidney Jones who's been hurt.
It has ruined us,
We've
hasn't
had
it?
the Markelle Fultz. But isn't Andre Dillard from Washington?
Washington State.
Washington State. I knew he was a Washington
Different
school.
university.
Yeah. But so, I'll say it as a joke, but people truly are like, well, remember what happened the last time we did that?
Yeah.
Stop.
I know. It's
Stop.
the most ridiculous
Stop.
argument in the world.
Stop.
I agree.
It's a horrible argument, and let's not sit here and act like Markelle Fultz wasn't a consensus
Well, that's what I
number
love about
one
this
overall
fan base.
pick. Let's not act like this was the Sixers trading up to 1 and drafting someone like that was completely irrelevant, that no one had ever heard of, and pulling this bonehead move. This was a consensus number 1 overall draft pick. No one thought that what happened was going to happen. And by the way, did you see that the Magic GM came out and said, we still don't have
I
any
don't want to
idea
talk
when
about
Markelle
him
Fultz
anymore.
is going to play?
I'll have to deal with him. He's not here anymore.
Not
I
my
won't deal
problem.
with him.
Oh, I blocked him on everything. I don't want to see anything from him. I want
I
nothing
don't think
to do
I
with
even
him.
went that far, but
I did. I don't want
pay
to see
attention.
anything. But so let's not act like, this wasn't the entire NBA collectively seeing the talent in this kid that disappeared. The Monstars took his talent. Maybe he'll be in Space Jam 2. I don't know. But
Speaking of This Is Madness.
so there's that. But I fought with so many people because, so like I said, Washington is not the sexy school that you see in a first round draft pick from. It's also not a school that anyone out here has ever watched a game.
Mm-hmm.
So people are talking about who they wanted based on the 4 games they watch in March.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched every single one of Matisse Thybulle's games. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. Okay? However, I sat for a few hours and did a good amount of research to be able to write an article about this kid to have it ready in case he was their pick on draft night.
JessicaTownMedia.com.
True. I had 5 articles ready. 5.
Oh, I remember you saying
I
it.
had Cam Johnson ready.
That's what you said while you were yelling at me.
I had Matisse Thybulle ready. I had Carson Edwards ready. I had
Oh, that one's going to sting me.
I had Eric Pascal ready, and there was one more. I don't remember who the last one was.
Do you understand that every time I watch Carson Edwards go on the floor in a ball, it's going to sting? Whether he's good or not, it's just Boston.
Yeah, but
damn you, Danny Ainge.
well,
damn you to hell.
I'll get over it. But so watching this kid, I know how much you love this guy. He's a better Robert Covington. But seriously, he can be a little bit
that's
streaky.
what a lot of people. Yes.
He can be a little bit streaky with a shot, but he's got a good shot. He's not, I wouldn't say limited offensively. I would just say inconsistent. Which
the drop from 40% to 30 is a little disheartening.
He also didn't take nearly as many.
No. I mean, look, anything can happen.
It was just different. So here's the thing. He's got a decent shot. There are some knocks on him, but his defense and athleticism is absolutely insane. They played a zone defense, and from the top of the zone, he had 83 blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Which was 8th across college basketball this year. He had 126 steals, which led college basketball this year. And he doesn't, and people are like, oh yeah, in the bum Pac-12. Okay, you don't win the entire NCAA Defensive Player of the Year for nothing.
You don't break Gary Payton's record.
You don't beat Jason Kidd's record either. You don't.
The kid can play basketball.
You don't win back-to-back Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. You don't win the entire Defensive Player of the Year for all of NCAA for nothing.
Yeah.
You don't. And part of what I like what the Sixers are doing, Bol Bol, that was the other one. That was the other one.
God, I never wanted anything to do with him.
I wanted nothing to do with him at all.
Or Taco Fall for that matter.
Yeah, me neither. But the with the exception of Bol Bol, every other person that had been connected to the Sixers was 22 years or older. They weren't going for a one and done or a young kid. They were going for someone who, that's usually a knock. Like when you look at the draft profiles and stuff, and when you read the draft profiles, they say the cons, his age. They always say, all of them. Every single draft profile I read for Eric Pascal, Carson Edwards, Cam Johnson, and for Matisse Thybulle, all of them were, well, he's his age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was just more time in college he had to develop, so he doesn't have to do it.
And the Sixers
in the NBA.
want those guys because
they
they're
want
in
someone that they
win
can put
now.
in now.
And here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. I need, obviously, it's not a finished product. You have the whole free agency, the whole offseason. But if you're planning on hitting the luxury tax, which obviously this team's going to go over that.
Right.
If they're able to re-sign Tobias, re-sign Jimmy, and do that. If you're able to do that, you need cheap alternatives on the bench. Okay? Yes, some could come in the mid-level exception and trade exceptions and all that. But to me, I would have rather, and this is the one thing that I'm not totally okay with as of yet. We got to see how it all plays out. Mm-hmm. I would have rather have had them. I didn't need them to have 4 or 5 second-round picks. I was totally understanding of that. But I would have rather them kept 2 second-round picks that were guys that could come in here and contribute even as you were developing them. So this guy Shayok from, what was it, Arizona? Not Arizona State. Was it Arizona State?
I don't remember.
I'm like you, Jess. I'm not going to come on here and tell you, oh, I know this guy and he's this, he's that, he's not any good. I don't know anything about him. But the talk is already that he's a 2-way contract player. I would have rather them have traded away the back of the second-round picks and tried to make those picks. Like, I wanted to trade it away 34. Okay? I really... Iowa State. Okay. And apparently he was very good for them. Mm-hmm. Very good for them.
Good shooter.
But I get concerned that we know that free agency is just as much a crapshoot as trying to judge the talent of these young kids coming out of college. But at least the kids, you have an opportunity to just, hey, you pick this kid and he's yours. You could say to your blue in the face, hey, Jimmy Butler, I want you on the team. And Jimmy says, nah, I'm cool. Nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. You could say, like the reports out today, and I would love this guy off the bench, Terrence Ross, we want you on this bench.
I wanted him in return for Markelle Fultz.
Wouldn't it be funny if you trade Jonathan Simmons and you end up signing Terrence Ross? Now it's almost like you did it, right? And now it's almost like, okay, we got Terrence Ross, you got Markelle Fultz, great, and you move on. But Terrence Ross could say, no, I'm going to go to X team because they're going to give me a chance to start. You don't know what these guys are going to do. So unless, look, Elton seemed very confident when he came up and talked after the draft. Very much like Brett Brown did last year. Very much so like Brett Brown did last year. This was too good of an opportunity to pass up. We're star hunting is a lot like it'll all make sense soon.
But that was, I don't think they're as similar, because I think that what Brett Brown said, Brett Brown was trying to justify, because
trading Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges was the consensus what everyone wanted. Everyone watched him play at Nova. Everybody knew his mom worked for the Sixers. Everyone just wanted him to, a hometown kid, everyone wanted him to come home, and he fit. He fit with the Sixers and everything that was going on. He fit, and it was perfect. And then people were livid when they traded him for Zaire Smith. Not anything against Zaire Smith. I don't think anybody would have been upset if Zaire Smith was the pick in the first place anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But people were upset about that. So I think that was more Brett trying to justify it.
Okay.
This is Elton being like, I know everyone's going to freak out. Just give us the free agency time and then freak out if you feel. Which is exactly what I said to you.
Yes.
I was like, listen, I think Elton Brand has not done anything at this point that doesn't deserve my trust. He 100% deserves this offseason. He's not done it. You watched him throughout the year. You watched exactly what he did. He's not scared to pull the big move. He's not scared to pull the right move, and he's going to do it. He's going to attack it. He traded for Jimmy Butler less than a month into the season.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go out there, and he's going to do it, and he's going to work his ass off to make sure that this team is in the best position to go on a championship run. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point, because I think through his first season as a GM, he's absolutely earned that right. He has earned the benefit of the doubt from Philly fans. They're not going to give it to him because, they don't think rationally. But he deserves that. So I'm not going to freak out about the draft. I like Matisse Thybulle. I like the pick. I think he fits in really well culturally with the Sixers. I think that what he has to offer, especially off the bench, he can contribute right away, a little bit on the offensive end and absolutely on the defensive end. We had nobody with that kind of defense that was going to stop anybody. Think about the runs that some of the teams went on when our second unit was in.
Agree.
Both things needed to be addressed, so let's start there. He's going to be able to help stop that run. And if you mix and match a little bit and say they do run it back and you have a defensive set in there of Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Zaire Smith, and Matisse Thybulle, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I don't care what I'm upset that I waited up to see if they were going to make a pick at 34 and then they didn't, and I was tired and I got less sleep.
Then they picked Admiral Schofield and he doesn't even get, there's so many of those guys' names I was like, oh, I would love them as a bench piece. And then they picked them. Look, obviously, you knew the 24 pick wasn't theirs. But who did they pick? Ty Jerome, who was on my list.
Yeah.
So then Carson Edwards at 33. Obviously, he was the one everybody wanted because, like you said, most people watch 4 games in March and think they know something. Granted, I think Carson Edwards can be a very nice bench shooter in this league. Then there's Admiral Schofield, and you're like, oh, and they end up,
right.
shy. But here, where I agree with you, and we've talked about this a lot, that the Sixers fans, in my opinion, are the least rational fans.
It's a jump to a conclusion, jump to a freak out, and I just think everyone needs to let free agency play out before we freak out.
Yeah, but here's where I think people get concerned. And I know it's all been different organizations running the draft, but the draft has not been kind to the Sixers. And I'm not even talking the first picks. First picks are a crapshoot. Zion Williamson was a guaranteed you got to take him, right? But at the end of the day, there's a chance that doesn't pan out.
I really don't think he's going to be a world beater in
Well,
the NBA.
Look, the only thing that he has going for him is he's strong, but he's also
athletic.
fast.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I think he's going to be a really good player, but I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to be,
Yeah.
he
But my point is the track record of okay, you've made your first pick, it is what it is. The track record of those next picks has not been good. Okay? It is not. And I'm looking just at some of the names that have gotten thrown out there. And some of these guys might have been traded draft night. It doesn't say that on the website I'm on. But Pierre Jackson, KJ McDaniels, I guess Jeremy Grant worked out, but not here. JP Tokido, Rashawn Holmes, and when you look at the teams that have been successful, yes, they build through free agency. I am a firm believer that the NBA is different in that sense, where you need free agency to build. Where the NFL, you want to fill holes. NBA, I think you need that to build. But it's you with that and then the later round picks. Look at the Golden State Warriors. And that's why, once again, you don't know what the Golden State picks from this year are going to be, but every pick they made, people went, damn, Golden State's doing it again. And it was all late round picks or mid-second round picks. And that's where I think, like me, I get like the way I got the other night with you because of the draft history, and I'm tired of it. And trading for more second round picks down the line doesn't excite me because that was early process stuff. Now, if he's doing this like he said to give himself the cap space, that's one thing. But you better do something with it. Like, Ellen put himself in a corner here.
yeah.
Because you now have to, in my opinion. It is a monumental disaster if you let both Jimmy and Tobias walk.
I absolutely agree. If they don't keep one of those two, it's a big
Look,
problem. So yeah, I think he was trying to make sure he kept everybody calm, but also he then put the pressure on himself a little bit more as well, saying, there's a plan in place here. And I really don't think he would have said that or executed draft night the way he did if he didn't have some sort of confirmation or, fairly certain idea of what he's got going in free agency or what he's got with like, I find it hard to believe that someone would come out and just say that and execute the draft the way he did without any sort of certainty.
Well, I was listening to the midday show on the Fanatic on the way in, and look, I know a lot of people in our city get fed up with Anthony Gargano. Here's a guy, though, that's been in the business for 30 years. He's written in Chicago. He's written in New York. He's been around teams. He has sources. And basketball is like his bread and butter. Like this guy has – when they were winning 10 games a year, Anthony was talking basketball. You know what I mean? And he said, listen, he goes, there's not a doubt in my mind that Elton has plan A, plan B, plan C. And one of them is going to work out. Plan A, most people think is the run it back plan. Get Jimmy, get Tobias, get JJ, fill in your bench pieces. Plan B is probably keep one, lose one, and try and get and I'm just throwing this name out there. I don't think it happens, but sign an Eric Bledsoe, or not Eric Bledsoe. That's
Malcolm
Brogdon, or who's the other kid from Chris Middleton. Or Danny
They're
Green.
all the same person in my head.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Eric Bledsoe.
Just because they're all they're like kind of the same player,
right.
And they're just like they're up in Milwaukee, and they're just there, they're interchangeable in my head.
And then Plan C is okay. They both walk. Now what the hell do? You have to do
Kawhi.
Everything possible to push for something
Kawhi.
miraculous to happen. You know what I mean? Could you imagine, right? Here we are, right, the city of Philadelphia. We are freaking out right now. July 1st is 4 days away, 5 days away, whatever it is, and we are freaking out. And on July 2nd, we are told that Jimmy Butler and Kawhi Leonard are signing max deals with the Philadelphia 70s. Could you imagine? Could
I
you
think I would
imagine
die of excitement.
what would happen in this city? I mean, my God.
I think my head would explode.
It's not going to happen. Listen.
No, it's not.
It's not happening. Kawhi is going to Toronto or Los Angeles in one way or the other, whether it be the Clippers or the Lakers.
I don't care as long as it's the West.
I'm
Get.
just telling you that now.
Get.
Like that's just the way it's going to be. Why my phone is blowing
He
up.
like slowly came out of his shell after that win.
He was funny.
He was funny. Him mocking his own laugh was probably one of the greatest things I've
Yeah.
ever seen ever.
He was actually
Wearing
really
a
funny.
shirt that said "Board Man Gets Paid." It's probably one of the best things to ever happen. I think Kawhi has duped us all into thinking he's this like freak of nature. I mean, he is a freak of nature, but like I didn't think he was human. If we're gonna be completely honest, I was holding firm that I thought Kawhi Leonard was also a virgin, just because like he was so strange. Like I just didn't think that anyone would ever go near him. To find out, he has kids.
You want to know? He
I
keeps
was
them
like,
separate.
But but here's the thing. Here's why it's so funny. He's been with the same woman since they met at San Diego State. No one knows if they're just dating, if they're engaged, if they're married. He's literally so private. No one even knows the status of their relationship. They have a daughter, but he also is rumored to have a son that she gave birth to in Toronto, like in April. But no one knows. Like, no one has any idea, which is just why it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, no one has any idea.
Yeah. But so to me, I hope that Elton has a plan. And listen, I would love Jimmy and Tobias back. As the weeks have gone on, the more and more I felt that that's not going to happen. It's more so one that, you're going to keep one, you're going to lose the other.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. And Jimmy, I have grown increasingly pessimistic on. I was very optimistic, Jess, when I texted you last week and said, did you see our boy Remy in his Sixer shirt hanging out at Jimmy's house? And I don't know if, and this is what I hate about social media, as much as I know it's a part of this business, and if you want to make it in this business, you have to be on it. The amount of rumor, like literally I live and die off a headline on friggin' Twitter. And the minute the headline broke that Woj reported Houston doing this to try and get Jimmy Butler, my heart sank.
But think about this.
But I shouldn't.
But think about it. Who are the biggest name free agents this year? Who are the ones that everyone's talking about?
Jimmy,
Kawhi, Kyrie,
Kevin
Durant.
Yeah.
Those are your big ones, right?
Yeah, because Klay Thompson is now dead, so he's not a free agent anymore.
There's no news about Kevin Durant until today when he declined his player option. He's been in New York. He's been talking to Kyrie. That's old news.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie's still looking at Brooklyn. There's a chance that he's open to maybe reuniting with LeBron in LA. Old news. Who are the other ones we just... Oh, Kawhi, Toronto, or the Lakers or the Clippers. Old news. Woj had a special on ESPN last night.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a special without some fire that you feel like is going to break the internet.
Agreed. I agree with that 100%.
So that is what came out of it. What is that face for?
That would be awful.
What?
I would hate life. NJ.com is doing it. Okay, if the Sixers do a sign and trade and they need a 3-team deal in there, no, they're actually fun to look at. And I want to go through. Can we go through each of these and see how you would feel if this happened?
Yeah, why not?
I know that me and you both want Jimmy back here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm actually on the record of telling people if Jimmy's not back here, I'd rather let him walk for nothing than throw money at guys like Eric Gordon who are older that you have to pay these contracts and spend it on these other, because the second tier of free agency I think is really good this year.
40% of the NBA is a free agent.
Yeah. So I mean
there are a lot of guys
right.
out there. Like you don't need to do that.
Right. So I say
figure
that
it out other ways.
Right. So I say that as a disclaimer going into this. But it's fun to kind of look at and this is an article I want to make sure I give him credit by Zach Rosenblatt of NJ Advanced Media for NJ.com. So the first trade, which is the one that I've heard a few times, is a 3-team deal, Sixers, Rockets, and Nets. Sixers get Eric Gordon, Spencer Dinwiddie, Taurean Prince, Rockets 2021 first-round pick, and Rockets 2023 first-round pick. Rockets get Butler, Nets get Capella. I love Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, I think he'd be a nice piece to come off the bench, maybe even start. If you're not going to have Jimmy, maybe he's even starting. But at the same time, look, I know Eric Gordon's a good player, but I have a problem if you're not going to throw the money.
What did you say this article's called?
This article is called NBA Rumors, Sixers, Jimmy Butler to Rockets. Here are 6 3-team trade ideas to make it work. It's put up today by Zach Rosenblatt. So, are you going to tweet that out?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. Zach, thank you for this article because it's going to add to the conversation here. So, what do you think, Jess? Eric Gordon, Spencer Dinwiddie, Taurean Prince, 2 Rockets first-round picks.
Say that one more time. It didn't process.
Gordon, Dinwiddie, Taurean Prince, and 2 Rockets first-round picks in 2021 and 23.
I wouldn't hate Spencer Dinwiddie on this team.
No.
But I don't love the Eric Gordon. I don't think Eric Gordon. He doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I mean he's good. Look, he's going to be a part of most of these deals because you're coming from Houston.
Yeah.
Here's the one that I almost cried at.
Oh,
Okay. Trade 2. Rockets get Jimmy Butler. Minnesota Timberwolves get Clint Capella. The Sixers get Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker from Houston.
Tell me Robert Covington. Tell me it's Robert Covington.
And Robert Covington.
Yep.
From the Timberwolves. No, next. I'm not going back to that.
I don't
can't.
want it, especially after drafting Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah, his
I would have
fandom-
taken Rocco back any day of the week.
No, I want it because his
But
fandom drives me insane.
now we have a better version of him now. We don't need that. Like that is a pointless idea. It is a pointless idea.
Yes.
Because essentially all we get out of that is Eric Gordon
Yeah.
and PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
Thank you, next.
Sixers, trade 3. It's the Sixers, Rockets, and the Pelicans who have done quite a bit this offseason. Sixers get Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, E'Twaun Moore, and the 2 Rockets first-round picks. Rockets get Jimmy, Pelicans get Clint. I don't. Why?
That doesn't
E'Twaun
do
Moore
anything for us.
does nothing for me.
That does nothing to give us any sort of return on investment for Jimmy
No.
Butler. Like it doesn't replace Jimmy's talent or
No.
anything about Jimmy Butler in any capacity for me.
E'Twaun Moore. I want nothing to do with E'Twaun frickin' Moore. Who the hell's E'Twaun Moore? Trade 4. You throw the Magic in as the 3rd team.
Markelle Fultz. Do we get Markelle Fultz back?
No, it's not.
It's the only way I'm doing this.
It's not Markelle Fultz. The Magic get Clint Capella, PJ Tucker, and a first. The Rockets get Jimmy Butler and Wesley Iwundu. And the Sixers get Eric Gordon and Aaron Gordon. He never really amounted to anything, Aaron Gordon. I agree with you. Oh, my God. Just looking at some of these.
These are all tremendous thought-provoking ideas. I hate all of them.
Yeah, the only one that I was semi-okay with was the first that added Spencer Dinwiddie to the team.
Yeah, I would be able to make my peace with that, but it doesn't give me, like I said, it doesn't replace the Jimmy Butler talent.
And the problem is you're not going to be able to replace the Jimmy Butler talent, which is why I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's go on to number 5. Now the Blazers are involved.
Ooh.
No, nothing fun. Eric Gordon, Mo Harkless,
No.
Zach Collins, and the Rockets first. And the last one gets the Kings involved.
Oh boy.
Now you get Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker from the Rockets.
Okay.
Bogdan Bogdanovic and Harry Giles, young kid out of Duke.
That one's more interesting.
Yeah, so I would say 1 and 6 are the 2 that I look at.
Yeah, 1 and 6 would be.
And say
it would
that
be
they
ones that I
interest
think
me.
we'd be able to justify and make our peace with. But what Jimmy Butler can provide, like we just said, it's really not super replaceable. So
Oh man, I hate that we're going through this. I wanted this to just happen.
I need it to be over.
Oh, here's that rumor that you put out from Sportsnet New York. Something that can impact the Knicks and Nets. Multiple teams have expressed interest in pairing Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler. Yeah, and I guarantee the Sixers are on that list.
In other news, the sky is blue, the grass is green.
Those teams obviously would need to create the cap space. The teams interested in Butler or Leonard believe they would have interest in playing on the same team. This doesn't suggest that Leonard.
I would have interest in playing on the same team as Kawhi too.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like,
Ugh. I don't know. I don't know what to think, Jess.
I just want it to be over.
No,
I
it's
just
almost
need it to
July 1st.
happen. What?
It's almost July 1st.
Believe me, I know.
I'm stretching it out right now.
You tired?
No, so part of my weight loss plan has been fasting. I'm doing intermittent fasting. I eat for 8 hours a day and I'm all for 16. So I basically
horrible.
eat between noon and 8. The problem today is it's almost 2 o'clock and I've yet to eat because I didn't have time to stop and get something on the way here. So I'm getting a little shaky.
Oh, Jesus.
Trying to drink my water. Might have to leave you to go fill up the water here in a minute.
Jesus.
But anyway, back to the nature at hand. It's working, Jess. It's working.
I can tell.
I'm down and I'll put it out there because they say, I always make fun of the people that put on Instagram, but they say that apparently psychologically that helps people to lose more weight because it lets the public know, which I'm not always about, but I'm doing very well right now and I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I
excited.
noticed.
Thank you.
You look great. Joe noticed as well. He texted me about it.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm doing what I can. I shave my head again too, which always takes off a couple pounds.
I'm sure that's the poundage that came up.
That's the only pound that's actually come off. No, I'm just kidding. God, I really was hoping that Keith Pompey would have worked out today because I had a lot of questions.
Ask me the questions. I'll answer them.
Well,
for
just
you.
as a basketball guy, does he really think that there's logic behind Jimmy Butler in Houston?
From a basketball perspective, no. No, there's not. It's going to be a dumpster fire. And then that's one more opening for the Lakers to be able to get into the playoffs. Because they're going to be a dumpster fire. And I told you they were going to be a dumpster fire this year. When they signed Carmelo, I said on this show, they're going to be a dumpster fire. And you were like, really? A dumpster fire? I said, yeah, a dumpster fire. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was like, this is not going to work. Look at this. No. So I just think, like I said, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to cause myself unnecessary worry about.
I wish I could be like you.
Yeah, most people do. I'm not going to sit here and
I don't mean in life, Jess. I just mean in that one microcosm speck.
Listen, I got a lot of things that I'm worrying about right now. I'm not going to waste my time worrying about free agency. I'm just going to let it happen, and then I'll worry.
You know what?
I'm going to worry about it afterwards.
Yeah. So yesterday, as I'm reading Twitter and getting ejected every second, every post that I read, I thought to myself, and I said, I'm going to have another kid within 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I'm allowing this to affect me. Mm-hmm. I really should probably be more concerned with the lack of sleep I'm going to be getting over the next couple months.
You should.
So maybe I should develop your idea.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. What is this? Has agreed to play with. Wait a minute. I thought. Oh, another one of Harris's brothers find a home. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure the one is playing for the Sixers.
Yeah, and the other one, I forget where.
Wait a minute.
I don't remember where the other one is.
All right, so let's look. We could talk about Jimmy Butler and Tobias, which is obviously the big stories. When it comes to filling out the bench for this team,
Mike Scott, need him.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can I finish? No, I'm just kidding. No. Yes, I agree. I like Mike Scott, but the number one priority of this bench has got to be a backup center that could play 20 to 25 games during the year, start, and give good minutes when Joe is playing. Now, when I look at the list of, center free agents, I'm just going to start reading down the names. Okay? I can't wait for the first name. Aaron Baines.
No. Also, he opted in, so he's not a free agent. He opted in and was traded to Phoenix, so he's not a free agent anyway.
Are you sure?
Positive. He opted in and they traded him on draft night.
Okay. Well, good for him. So Aaron Baines, you don't want to worry about. Although they're saying that Aaron Baines could very well be bought out by...
No. Don't even.
Bismarck Biyombo.
Who in God's name is that?
You remember Bismack?
Well, you said his name was Bismarck just now, so which
What
one
wrong?
is it?
Bismack. I thought there was an R there. I'm shaky. I haven't eaten. Forgive me. I can't read.
Bismarck is the capital of, is it North Dakota or South Dakota?
One of the, who the hell cares? Dakotas are Dakotas. Sorry, Carson.
Yeah, I was saying, don't say that about our friend Carson Wentz.
Carson, I love North Dakota, and I would really love if you come on our show. Putting it out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jess?
I'm trying.
What do you think?
I'm trying, all right?
Okay, just checking. How about Deshaun? We're best friends with him. Hey, by the way,
Again, working on it.
have you ever got the pictures?
It's North Dakota, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That was really bothering me. No, I haven't. I also haven't checked that email. I've been doing a lot of things that
I know.
I know.
I want to see my picture with D-Jack.
I'll find it.
Okay.
I'll work on it.
We'll move on. No, I don't want Tyson Chandler, who's going into his 18th year in the league. DeMarcus Cousins.
He's not coming here.
No, but I'm just. This is more of a.
Would he come off the bench?
Would you
though?
be interested?
If he would come off the bench, yeah.
Here's an interesting name and one of the ones on my list. Ed Davis from the Nets.
Yeah.
I know he got hurt in the playoffs, but he doesn't miss a lot of time. He's used to that backup center role. He's a guy that will play well for you when he's in there. Wouldn't mind that. Dwayne Dedman, did he get traded?
I have no idea.
Because he was a guy that has been rumored to be coming to the Sixers for the last 2 years. Dwayne Dedman out of Atlanta. Wouldn't mind that one at all. What is Toronto going to do with Marc Gasol? Are they going to resign him?
Probably.
You would hope.
You'd think. I don't see why they wouldn't.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be silly of them to not.
Right. Here's a guy that would be a 4-5 for you. Now, he's obviously 12 years in the league. He's 33 years old. But his name is being rumored for the Sixers to have interest.
I will jump off a tall building.
And that will be Al Horford.
I will jump off a tall building. Do you understand how much effort I've put into hating this man?
I want this to happen for one reason and one reason only. To
Make me
watch
angry?
you have to cheer for him.
I won't do it. I will not do it. I will just enjoy him.
Actually, two reasons. That's
I will just
one.
enjoy him not turning into friggin' Michael Jordan against the Sixers.
The second is he is the thorn in Joel Embiid's side, and I would friggin'
Joe
love for him to be here.
Joe figured it out in that last game they played against the Celtics, and I just hope he would play that way going forward. But for some reason, Al Horford doesn't miss against the Sixers, which is what upsets me more than anything else.
Either one of the Lopez brothers.
Not the caveman looking one. I'd take Brooke Lopez. I wouldn't take Robin
Okay.
Lopez. Brooke Lopez can actually play basketball. Robin Lopez looks like he belongs in a Geico commercial.
You're always so insulting to people's looks. What's it like to be perfect, Jess? Gasol has a player option. Thank you very much. Who I can't read the name, so you can give the name credit. I can't read.
It's Joe.
Fair enough. Thank you, Joe. JaVale McGee.
I would take JaVale McGee.
I can't because of the godforsaken, whatever it was, rat tail that he had last year.
He still has the rat tail, and I'd still
Nope.
take him here. I hate the
Nope.
rat tail, but I like him.
Violation. Ennis Cantor.
I'd take Enes Kanter.
Now, I
think
wonder
he's
if he
a jackass.
resigns.
I think he's a jackass.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll take that on the floor any day.
Who else here? Wow.
I didn't want him here if they had to trade for him.
Yeah.
But if he'll just sign here, I'm in.
Here's an interesting name from the past who I would love back in this role. Nerlens Noel.
I wouldn't hate it.
As the backup, absolutely. I'm all for it. That would have been funny. Jonas Valanciunas. He does have a player option.
Yeah, he's probably going to opt in.
I don't know. Is there any other names that I'm missing here? Like, I don't want half of these other guys. Kyle O'Quinn. I don't want. Bottom line is you need to get one of these guys to come here and be your backup center.
Yeah.
To me, Ed Davis, Dwayne Dedman, Nerlens Noel are the big names that I would love to see. And you go from there, unless you make a trade. But I don't even know how possible a trade is at this point.
What do they have to trade? Nothing. The answer is nothing.
Brett Brown?
I can trade Brett Brown.
Don't do it. It's my guy. Brett's going to lead us to the promised land or get fired.
I have just come to the determination I am never in favor of firing anybody.
I know, because you have this optimistic attitude that is wonderful. But sometimes that optimistic attitude blinds you from necessity.
I try to be optimistic and give people the benefit of the doubt.
I know, and you're great at it. But sometimes necessity comes in.
I also just don't want to be an ass.
I know, but sometimes you have to
Yeah,
be.
sometimes it gets there, but like I'm not one of those people, like something goes wrong and there are people that are just immediately fire this person. Like the Phillies the Phillies are playing like crap and everyone's like, "Oh, fire Gabe Kapler." I'm like, "Why? Like what did he do? What has he done? Tried to work with what he has that's not on the injured list?"
Oh
You know what I mean? Like why? Why is that your first response? It's the same thing. Anytime the Sixers won a game, the players won the game. Anytime the Sixers lost, it was fire Brett Brown. It makes no sense. Same thing with, like, the Eagles are skidding, and it's everyone wants to fire Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz. I'm like, they literally just won you a Super Bowl. What do you mean? What do you mean? Again, it's not our fault that we have 22 people on the IR, and they're playing with defensive backs that they picked up off the street and tried to make work together as a unit and played the Saints. Like, relax.
Well, let's attack one thing at a time here.
But you know what I mean?
I know
like,
what
I'm just
you mean.
not that kind of person.
I
So
know
like
what you're
for the Brett Brown thing, obviously, but you know I like Brett Brown. And then for the Gabe Kapler thing, like, you know I'm not Gabe's biggest fan. I don't love the way Gabe Kapler is, but like, give the guy a chance with an actual lineup.
Yeah, I
I
think the bigger issue is, and it's the one thing I said going into the season, which, hey, had a great offseason. You signed Kutch, you signed Harper, you trade for Segura, trade for Real Muto. Okay, great, grand, wonderful. You didn't address your pitching enough. And that falls on Matt Klentak.
I would say that's not Gabe Kapler's fault.
No, that falls on Matt Klentak. And on top of that, because you relied so heavily on Nola and he's been what he's been, you find yourself 3 games over 500. 5.5?
5, yeah, because the Braves lost the other day.
Yeah, 5.5 back from the Braves. When only 3 weeks ago you were up by 4.5. You know, it's a pretty now.
I was saying that. I said that 2 weeks ago when I was here by myself and when I was here with Patrick. I said the issue is going to be they need to keep up with what's going on with their injuries. They have to make sure that they're replenishing. They need to fix what's going on with the bullpen. They need to fix their starting pitching. They need to make sure that they're keeping up with that, because if they don't, they're going to fall out of first place and they're going to fall behind. And it's so much easier to control your own destiny than have to claw back and rely on someone else to start losing. It's so much easier to just keep winning and keep yourself in the front than if you now at this point they could keep winning, but if the Braves keep winning, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's a totally different.
You know what I
ballgame,
mean?
though.
So that again, that falls on Matt Klentak for not staying on top of things and just trying to wait it out with, like, think about the number of guys from the bullpen that they've got on the injured list. Losing Andrew McCutchen, Roman Quinn bouncing up and down, the Odubel Herrera situation. Like, you know, everyone, Scott Kingery spent time on the list. And so did Jay Bruce, and not necessarily on the list, but hurt. JT got hurt. Like, everyone has been hurt. So, like, Gene Segura was down there for a while. Like, everyone's been there, and they're not doing anything to keep up. They're just rotating people around, and it's not eliminating Maikel Franco from the line. Like, it's just not. They're not doing anything to help themselves, because by the time they're relying on these people coming back, and by the time that happens, it might be too late.
Well, and they've given too many chances to guys like Vince Velasquez and Jared Eichhoff, and instead of moving on from them and bringing people in here that could contribute for you right away.
I don't mind Vinny V being in the bullpen. I don't want him as a starting pitcher. He's got enough stuff to be a major league pitcher in some
Vinny V has
capacity.
reached Kyle Kendrick area for me, where I can't stand him anywhere.
That's fair.
That's where I've gotten to with Vinny V. By the way, Gene Segura, a lot of hate going his way because of a couple and I've actually seen some people say, well, I mean, if he was so good, why would Seattle get rid of him? I was like, because it's called a rebuild, and Seattle is rebuilding. Gene Segura is a good baseball player.
He's a really
solid
good baseball player.
Really solid baseball player. Back the hell off of the guy.
Seriously, and everyone's, Gabe has no control of the locker room because he didn't bench Gene Segura for a game. At the end of the day, like, they're not children. Like, they're not going to respond to, that little, oh, if you don't do this, you're not going to be allowed to do this. Oh, you did this, so here's your punishment. It doesn't work that way for a bunch of adults. Like, it just doesn't. You can do that in high school. You can do that in college. You can do that in Little League. It's not going to work for a Major League Baseball player. At the end of the day, we don't have any better option to put out there at shortstop right now, and we need Gene Segura in our lineup. He's riding, 7-game hitting streak right now?
Oh, yeah.
Benching Gene Segura is such a dumb thing to say.
People forget that, Charlie Manuel was an old school manager. So he benched people. You don't do it anymore. The players are new age. The coaches are new age. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you anywhere. And to me, Gabe is showing just enough fire getting thrown out of the last 2 games, or 2 of the last 3 games.
Listen to me. So my mom was in the Manioc Arts Fest over the weekend. Have you ever been up to the Manioc Arts Fest ever in life?
I've been up to Manioc a lot of times, but I'm not going to lie to you. Anytime I've been in Manioc, it's a little fuzzy.
Fair. So the Manioc Arts Fest, it's the third or fourth weekend in June every year. And it's so fun. They close down all of Main Street, and it's all different kinds of artists and vendors and all kinds of things. Joe and I bought a ridiculous amount of stuff for Philly art pieces for our apartment. They're gonna be so cool. I'll send you pictures when we put them up next week. But we got a photograph of the Rocky statue. We got a word art thing of an image of the Super Bowl parade at the Art Museum, and the words are it's every single Eagles matchup and score.
Oh, I have it. Yeah, Dan's word art. Yeah.
So they were there. So we got one of those. We got a couple different Sixers things, Eagles things. There was a picture that I absolutely purchased. That famous picture of Muhammad Ali standing over.
I have it hanging in my basement.
Yeah. Well, I bought a version that's Carson Wentz knocking out Dak Prescott. It's fantastic.
You degraded one of the most historic and iconic pictures in sports.
But it's really well done, and they've got Malcolm Jenkins is in the back. It's very well done. It looks very cool, and we got just a little guy to kind of put up in our apartment. It's really cool. But anyway, so my mom was in there over the weekend, so my brother and Joe and I were there. We went and sat, and we went to a nice little rooftop, little Mexican bar restaurant, and we're having some margaritas. We were watching the game. I physically stood up and was watching Gabe go at it and get ejected. I looked at Joe and Andrew, and I was like, at this moment, Gabe Kapler has officially gotten my support. I was on the fence, and you know that. I'm all in. I support. That is exactly what I think everyone needed to see from Gabe Kapler a little bit. And last night, too. You know what? Absolutely justified.
I hate Joe West. He's such an ass.
Absolutely justified in last night. He warned both teams to stay back and didn't say a single word to the pitcher. Scott Kingery took a pitch to the side of the head. And Mets pitchers are notorious for hitting Phillies players on purpose. They hit Rhys Hoskins this year, and obviously you remember how upset Rhys was with that. But he didn't say anything to the pitcher, didn't give any sort of warning.
Gabe should not have been thrown out. It's ridiculous.
He warned both sides, and Gabe took 3 steps out and then got tossed, and he went, what the hell? And just went off. And he should have. He absolutely should have. You don't, our TV's broken, so I couldn't really watch the game. I was just seeing it places. Was Scott okay? Is he all right? Is everything fine? Is he fine?
Yeah, it ended up hitting his shoulder blade more than his head.
Okay, good.
It was up that way. I was actually watching the game live at that point.
I wasn't. Our TV's broken. It's super unfortunate.
How does that happen?
The cable box isn't working.
I thought somebody...
No. The cable box isn't working because our cable boxes are from 1984. Not really, but they're really old.
No such thing as a cable box in 1984.
Well, that's how old they are. They're so old, and it's a mess. So none of the channels are working except for I don't know, ABC, basic cable channels. It was
fair.
So I tried to put the Phillies on, and I was like, ah. I panicked. I actually screamed. I was like, Mom, because I wanted to watch the Phillies, but I couldn't. But anyway. So yeah, I fully support Gabe Kapler.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of.
That's fine. I fully support Gabe Kapler freaking out like that. I fully support the ejections. For a guy who is always so overly positive, and you know I can't stand that sometimes. For example, when it's a 3-0 count and they give Sean Rodriguez the green light to swing on a 3-0 pitch with the bases loaded. And he says, we want him in that position because he's an extremely powerful hitter against lefties. And he's literally a 249 career batting average again. It's things like that I'm like, you are insulting my knowledge. You are insulting me as a fan of baseball and as a fan of this Phillies team. You are insulting me by saying things like that, assuming that I don't know any better. I don't even think he's assuming that I don't know any better. I just think in general, like, you are insulting my intelligence. It makes me feel like he thinks I'm dumb. I don't enjoy that. That is what I don't enjoy from Gabe. I don't want him to sit there and crap all over his players. I don't want him to sit there and toss his players under the bus. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for him to be realistic. Be like, you know what? Probably shouldn't have given him that green light. Like, I just want him to be realistic. I hate the over the top, like, because it seems fake. It seems forced and it seems fake. So that's the only side of Gabe that we've ever seen. The fact that they went on this 7-game skid, they fell out of first place, and he got pretty fired up out there at that umpire. That, I think, was really, really big for his players to see and really big for the fans to see as well. Because you don't think that, based on the last year and a half we've had with him, no one thinks thought he had that capability. No one's seen him with that. No one's seen that kind of fire. They've just seen this overly positive, like, person who's just even keeled all the time, even in one of the biggest collapse in baseball history.
Well, yeah, and what I think you see with Gabe is he's not happy with the way things have gone.
Yeah.
And he's not just going to be positive in this one right now.
But that's great because usually he is.
Right.
In things like this, he is. And I just...
Well, he's becoming more and more seasoned.
Yeah.
As a manager, and he's learning on the fly, and we'll see what happens. I mean, look, the baseball season is so damn long that it's hard to, like, I give credit to shows that base an entire show around baseball. Like Andrew Salchunas doing that baseball hour.
He's doing
on the
fantastic,
Fanatic is
by the way.
phenomenal.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's phenomenal. Like, you really got to be invested in that. And it's hard because, okay, yeah, they're not playing well. We know that. We know what they need. I don't like Matt Klentak's answers of saying, well, I don't think we have to make any moves. No, you do. Don't be a jackass. Go make your moves.
Again, I don't think he needs to make moves at firing anybody. But moves need to be made. I agree with you there. Moves 100% need to be made because they're not going to be able to sustain. They need to, like, limp their way to the All-Star break.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, we are into the 2 o'clock hour today.
We are.
I don't know if we're going to go the full 2 hours today. We'll see how it plays out here. Jess, you know what we forgot because it's been so long?
What?
This was supposed to be your week to ask me questions in a buzzer beater segment.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I have nothing for you. I can come up with some right now while we're talking if you want.
I mean, I feel like we should.
All right, I'll work on coming up with them.
But one of the things... I'm trying to think. Do we have any idea? And look, I don't know hockey. Okay, I just don't know it. But do we have any idea what the Philadelphia Flyers are doing? It just seems like they're just...
I don't think the Philadelphia Flyers have any idea.
They're just mishmashing things together right now.
Yeah. Do you know the answer to this question? When I asked Patrick this. Okay, so they traded for a guy who's a free agent.
Yeah.
Is that, like, normal in hockey? Can you do that in basketball?
I mean, I guess you technically
Did it work? Did they sign him?
Yeah, they signed him.
Okay.
They had to overpay him.
Yeah.
But they signed. Yeah, I mean, in hockey, that's always been a thing is where you're technically
never heard of that
you
before.
trade for the rights to a guy.
Okay.
I remember a few years back the Flyers did it, and then they didn't sign the guy, and I was like, "Are you frigging kidding me? Like, you traded for the rights of this guy, and then you don't get him anyway." I'm sure it's got to be somebody you highly covet. It's got to be somebody you really think can add to your team. For this guy, the Flyers look at him as their second line center, which is something that they feel they desperately need. I mean, I'd have to look at the Flyers roster. I don't think it's this strong roster right now. I think they have a lot more to do, but I feel like every time I turn around, they're signing someone or they're trading for someone. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who they are. Are they good? Maybe. But I don't know enough about what they're doing, and it's frustrating. That team frustrates me more than anybody.
Yeah,
because for so many years they were okay with mediocrity and just being in the playoffs. And now they're just terrible, and I'm like, all right, where's the third part of this? You did the mediocrity. You've done the terrible. Almost knocked over my cup.
Figured out.
And the next part should be being a contender again. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating that this summer, which was supposed to be dominated by how good the Phillies were, and dominated by a great offseason by the Sixers, which could still happen, and me and you are sitting here counting down days to training camp.
We are. 29 days. Can't wait.
29 days till training camp. Not something that we were supposed to do.
30, how many days? 30, maybe like 40 days until they're one singular
thing
open
is,
practice that people had to pay for.
Once we hit there's 32 teams, right? And we do 4 teams, so it would be, once we hit like the middle of July, and we almost have to get into our divisional breakdowns.
Yeah.
That we do week by week. Yeah, so we could do it leading up to doing the NFC East right into the first game of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Redskins. It would take 8 weeks.
8?
It would take 8 weeks to do. Always a fun thing, especially when we're able to get guests to come on and talk about their divisional teams. July 10th is when we should.
2 shows from now.
Cool!
That's 2 weeks from now.
Boy, guess I got to start looking in.
Except we should probably start the week before because, fun fact, I'm absolutely not going to be here on the 31st of July.
Fun fact, July 10th is the following week after July 10th, which would be the 17th,
Baby.
would be the due date for the baby. So if the baby does not come earlier, I will not be here on the 17th.
We'll figure it out.
So we got to start next week.
We'll play it by ear. We might have to do 2 in some shows.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
We'll make it work.
Figure it out. Yeah,
we know that
31st,
football is
I
our
won't be
bread and butter, so when it gets back,
Yeah.
we'll be wrong. Where are you going the 31st?
We will be in the Outer Banks with
Fun.
with our friend Rob.
Great time.
Yeah, we'll be there from the Sunday to like Thursday, and
It's
then
a great trip.
And then we
did it a few years ago.
We meet my family in Avalon after that.
Oh.
So my family, they got a house for a couple weeks, but it overlaps. So we'll just do one and then
go
meet
down
them for
to
the other
Avalon.
and hang out. Yeah.
Avalon's great.
Yeah, we've never stayed there. I've been there twice for like a day.
My summers were born and bred right in Stone Harbor. Every summer up until a couple years ago. Love it down in Stone Harbor.
I grew up in Cape May.
I mean, I love Stone Harbor, and it's the only problem now that I have kids. Like, I still have a couple of family members that own a house down there, but it's hard to say, hey, I'm coming down with this whole big clan. It was a lot easier when it was just me and the wife coming down for a weekend. Jess, let's do this.
How many questions should I have?
I don't know. 8. What do you got?
6. I can get 2 more.
Okay. Jess, let's do a little early This Is Madness.
Okay. I didn't think about this very hard, so you go first.
The one thing, and look, I'm going to put this out here as a disclaimer.
Oh, boy.
I am not doing this to start an argument. Okay? I'm not doing this part of this thing that I'm going to bring up. I'm not doing it to say that, well, I'll get to it.
Oh, boy.
But before I do, because it's a 2-part thing here. Obviously, the basketball season has ended, and if you were watching the finals on ABC, you saw a lot of advertisements for 2 new shows coming to ABC this summer for the Summer of Fun. One show was produced by none other than Steph Curry, called Holy Moly.
Mm-hmm.
The other show, produced by Aisha Curry and some family cook-off something. I don't know what the hell it's called. Why do athletes get away, and their significant others get away, with putting out dumb-ass show after dumb-ass show? Like, this Holy Moly looks so stupid.
I don't think Aisha's show looks stupid, though.
How many different cooking shows can we do?
I love cooking shows. I'll watch them all.
But Family Food Fight? That's what it's called. Family Food Fight or something. I don't need to see families.
Then don't watch it.
I'm not going to, but the fact that it's on pisses me off.
Okay.
But
that sounds like a big you problem.
But here is the second part of that issue. Aisha Curry. She drives me friggin' up a wall.
Okay, we're going to stop this conversation right here because I will come at your throat so fast.
She drives me
I will come at your throat so fast.
Insane.
I love her. And I think she's fantastic.
Why?
Because I think first of all, her cookbook is excellent. Her
I'm
recipes
not saying
are
she's
fantastic.
not a good cooker. Chef Triss? I don't know. I'm not saying that she's not.
I really like what she's about. I don't know.
Let me. I'm asking questions. I'm not trying to start an argument. I'm trying
You're
to.
gonna get there really quick.
I know.
Promise you.
What is she about?
She's what's the word she uses? She calls herself a momtrepreneur, which I think is really great because she's doing all these different things for herself and for her business, building up her brand as well as being a stay-at-home mom to 3 kids, which is difficult when your husband is one of the faces of the NBA and traveling constantly for basketball. Like, think about how much, like, he's probably not home. So she has 3 kids,
Right.
and she's doing all these other different things. She's a CoverGirl spokesperson. She's got her show. She's got her cookware brand. She's got her other, like, home decor stuff. She's got, like, bedding and sheets and all that kind of stuff brand. She's got her cookbooks. Like, she had some other things, too. Like, she does a lot. And balancing that with also being a mom, but also very clearly being a very, very dedicated to her family and to being, like, she's always at the games at Oracle. Like, you know, like, she does a lot. And I think that, I mean, I know for me, like, I can, what's the word I'm looking for?
Idolize, relate,
Identify with that.
identify. Okay.
Obviously, like, I don't have kids, but from a perspective of, like, doing a lot of different things, but also being attentive to your family and, you know, doing all that. Like, that's like the kind of woman like I want to be.
That's all good
So
and well.
that's why I really like
Yeah.
her, because I can identify with her as a person.
And that kind of stuff I can respect, I can appreciate. And I'm going to mention this name because it's kind of the same feel I get with this person. When she's public, when she's on a show, when she's being interviewed, when she's on Twitter, I get a little of the Taylor Swiftish feel, if that makes sense.
I can't stand Taylor Swift.
Neither can I. And part of it now, I'm not saying that Ayesha Curry's not all the things you just said she was, but when she goes on, like, for example, I was home with my wife the other day, and she had the View on or something as I walked through the room, and Ayesha Curry came on, and everything she said, and I'm like, listen, I'm like, what out of what she's saying is actually real? Like, some of it just seems
like what?
Like, some of it just seems scripted. I can't, like, give you an exact example from that interview, but it's like, look, I think part of my issue is, and hey, fight for your man. I'm all about that. But, like, going to Twitter to defend Steph Curry, who was, as you said, one of the faces of the NBA, let Steph do his fighting in that situation. You know,
she's not the first one to do it. She won't be the
no,
last.
and she's not. And like I said, I understand what you're saying, and I respect any woman who does that. I just think, personality-wise, in the public light-wise, there's something she gives off to me that's just like,
all right.
That's all. I didn't want to start an argument. I just wanted to put that out there.
That's because I was fighting with people about Ayesha Curry not super long ago.
I'm not
on
surprised.
Twitter.
I'm not surprised you were fighting with people about Ayesha Curry.
It just happens.
And you know me, Jess. I'm not Mr. Anti-Woman in any way,
No,
shape,
you're
or
not.
form.
Well, it would be really hard for you to be, considering you're married and you have twin girls.
That would make me more anti-woman. I mean, Jesus, that actually gives me more reason to be anti. But no, I'm all about, you know, what was the one movie? It was Anchorman. And he says, women can do stuff nowadays. It's the truth. Women do a lot. They're fantastic. Do a great job. You do a tremendous job here. I witness this all the time. I witness my wife all the time being a full-time nurse practitioner while also being a phenomenal mother. Like, I get it. But there's just certain women that irk me, and Ayesha's one.
There are people that there are women and men that irk me too.
Yeah,
Actually, there's a
Ayesha.
lot of them. There are very few that don't.
was gonna
Ayesha
say.
happens to be one that does not.
Yeah, Ayesha, she gets me. I don't know what it is.
All right. Well,
Alrighty.
mine, the one that I really just think needs to be touched on is this jackass in Kansas City.
I didn't even write it down, but I'm glad you brought it up.
It's the only thing that I want to talk about. It's the only one that I have. How dare you? Is really my only. How dare you? Absolutely, how dare you? there are a lot of things that people have said Andy Reid is and is not. You cannot find one person in the city of Philadelphia that won't tell you that Andy Reid is a phenomenal human being.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find one person who didn't support Andy Reid when he lost his son. People who hated Andy and wanted Andy to be fired were, I tweeted a couple things about this yesterday. Were responding and saying, I hated Andy Reid as a coach. I was never a fan of his, but I was absolutely at that game and there to support our head coach in that. That's like, all the players that were coming out supporting. I mean,
that's all you need to see. Nobody knows him better than those guys that have been in the locker room for him.
Like Jeremiah Trotter
and Kareem, and guys like Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill and what they're doing, that was instilled in them a long time ago. Not Andy Reid did not just let this behavior go on. And here's the way I look at it. First of all, this guy showed how much of a jackass he was. When he says what he said, and all you got to do is listen to it and read between the lines of what he's trying to say. Yes, he never comes out and says Andy Reid couldn't discipline his son and look at the overdose, right? But everything he said led you to believe that's what he was.
You know exactly what it was.
So he gets called out, and then he comes out with this lame-ass apology. My words were taken and run with. That's not what I meant. Dude, What
else did you mean by he couldn't control, he couldn't take care of it with his family life. He couldn't discipline with his family. What else was there?
Yeah, first of all, I almost said
Yeah, keep it.
First of all,
keep it together.
Okay, drug addiction is a disease, and very rarely can the parents just stop it. Okay, it's a tough thing to watch people go through. I've had friends go through it. I've had people that I know closely go through drug addictions. It's not easy.
No.
Don't blame the parents first and foremost. Secondly, to say that Andy Reid has no discipline, how quickly we forget Andy Reid sticking his neck out to give one Michael Vick a second chance. And not only does it work in the sense that Mike came back and had a couple good years here as an Eagles quarterback.
He is loved.
Look at his humanity now. You think Andy Reid had nothing to do with that? I mean, you're just an ass if you think that. You really are.
He stuck his neck out for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
He stuck his neck out for Tyreek Hill after he was kicked out of school for beating his girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
The same one who he has now as a child.
You don't do that because you're okay with behavior. You do that because you're trying to help someone.
He tried to help someone.
And it doesn't always work.
And it backfired.
Yeah.
And it happens. But let's not act like this happens all the time. And Michael Vick is absolutely the perfect example of that. Michael Vick, we hated Michael Vick here. And more than half of the fan base was pissed when they brought him in. Mm-hmm. He is loved in this city.
Yeah.
There's
still people that hate him because they can't get over anything.
Yeah, but they're few and far between. You know what I mean? Like, the majority of this city now is a big fan of Michael Vick. I love Michael Vick. He did great things here, and he has turned his life around. He, served his time, and he turned his life around, and, he was able to build that back up, and he would not have gotten there without Andy Reid.
Yeah, it's very disappointing to hear someone really go at it's. You know what it is? It's very similar to, if you remember when Roy Halladay died and those jackasses up in Boston decided to rip him rather than saying, oh, this is probably not the right time to do it, regardless of what you thought. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
And, I'll go to battle any day of the week for anyone who comes after Andy Reid like that. I'm in.
Or Aisha Curry, apparently.
Well, yeah, her too. But don't mess with my Philly people. The reporters that come after are players and coaches in that kind of capacity. You better look out.
How about the Mets jackass people?
They're the worst. The Mets are the worst. The Mets suck. The Mets are literally the worst. I have my questions for you. They're ready.
All right, let's do that. Keith Pompey just emailed me and said I couldn't get through. I'm going to email him back if You'd try again.
Okay, do you want your questions now?
Hold on, because I got to start the timer in about.
Oh, I forgot there's a timer. Do you need me to start the timer?
No, I got it right here. Don't you
Okay.
worry.
All right.
Don't you worry.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, that's so loud and super distracting. Fix that. Okay, if you had endless amounts of money, what would your first selfish purchase be?
This is my adult moment. You ready?
Yeah.
Paying off my house and my wife's loans and not having a mortgage, car payment, or loan payments anymore.
I think that's perfect. Dream vacation, where would it be? Anywhere at all.
I got, I've only been there once, and I really want to go with Alyssa. I gotta go back to Italy.
Where in Italy?
Probably the Tuscany region. Get out there on the Amalfi Coast.
Oh, the Amalfi Coast is one of my favorite places in the entire world. Your first celebrity crush?
Oh my God, I'm so old, Jess. It takes me a while to go back. Kelly Kapowski,
Amazing.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Saved by the Bell.
Yep. Do you have any hidden talents?
I actually thought about this. Is weird. About a week ago, I was like, you don't have any of those hidden talents. Like everything you have is like out there. No, I don't.
Lame.
I know. Suck.
If you could sit and have a conversation with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh. This is so lame of me, but Brian Dawkins. I just want to talk to him.
That's fair.
I love him.
What's your favorite dish to cook? Cheese sandwich.
You do realize I'm not a big cooker, huh? I am growing the ability to cook flank steak, and I'm enjoying cooking flank steak, and I'm enjoying finding new ways to cook flank steak. So let's go with flank steak.
I would hope we'd go with flank steak after that. What show can you binge watch over and over and over again?
God, that is so hard. I mean, you have back in the day, it was Saved by the Bell. And, like, even if Saved by the Bell's on right now, I can go in and watch an entire episode of that. The one show I do it every night, is Impractical Jokers. And I've probably seen almost every episode they've ever done, and I still laugh my ass off at every episode of Impractical Jokers right now.
One of my mom's cousins is, like, I forget.
Have you ever watched it?
VP is something for their channel.
Oh, for True TV. Have you ever watched the show?
Yes, I saw them live.
I want to see them live so bad.
I'm going to be honest, I don't love the show. I really don't think it's that great.
Oh, my God.
But I also can't, like, a couple episodes here and there I'll watch, but I can't I just watch it, like, episodes on end. I get bored.
I absolutely love it. I go to bed to it every night.
There you go. And last question, what's your favorite Disney movie of all time?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just saw the real life version of what has always been my favorite Disney movie, and that is Aladdin.
How was it?
And the real life they did a tremendous job with it.
I have another friend who's about as avid.
Perfect timing, by the way.
About as avid of a Disney fan as they come, and she hated it.
Oh, why? What was her reasoning?
She just didn't like it.
I thought it was...
The only one I have seen of those has been Beauty and the Beast. Because for that reason...
And you didn't like that?
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it.
See,
I didn't think the casting was great. I didn't love... Listen, those are my movies. They are iconic to me in every which way. I don't like going in and changing that iconic thing that I love. So, like, throwing in
I do. I like little wrinkles.
I don't.
And Aladdin didn't do a lot of it, but they did enough where it was good. They didn't change much, but they changed enough. They changed some where I could see where some people might get angry, but...
What did you think of Will Smith as the genie?
I thought he was excellent, and I'll tell you why I thought he was excellent. Because he didn't try and be Robin Williams.
That's exactly what I was... So many people were up in arms about it. I didn't think it would be a problem if it was Will Smith being the genie. And not trying to emulate Robin Williams.
He was who he is.
So I think that would be pretty good.
And I thought he did a great job. I thought the Aladdin and Jasmine actor and actors were very good. The Jafar actor did not really fit. To me, Jafar was an older guy.
I've heard
this guy's like just super young. Like, I'm like, dude, someone punched this guy in the face. Like, he does not look tough.
So
yes, this turned into Disney Hour, so everyone shut up.
I want to see that. I'm not going to pay money to go see it in the theater, but I'll see it when it comes out. I do want to go see The Lion King, though. I think that's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait for The Lion King. Can't wait for The Lion King. Dumbo, I'll wait for video, just because Dumbo.
Yeah. Well, so the only one I've seen is Beauty and the Beast, and I'm not going to see Maleficent because I think it ruins Sleeping Beauty. I haven't
See,
seen
but
Cinderella
you know
'cause
what's
think it's
funny
kinda
about that?
creepy.
For years, I always had the idea in my head, what if someone writes these stories from the villains?
But I think that's fine. But it also like there's a part where I think she like sees like they've come in face to face like in the forest when she's like 3 or 4, and she's supposed to like not see her again until she's 16.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like stuff like that. That I'm like, from the villain's perspective, yes.
Like,
but
here's
it
the deal.
has to be the same movie.
It was Snow White and the Huntsman. Did you ever see the original? Like, that was really good. And it wasn't it was a much darker twist on Snow White, but it was,
Sure.
but that, you got to remember, and this is what we forget with a lot, not necessarily Aladdin, but like Snow White and see, these were not Disney's stories.
I know,
They
but-
were the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
And those MFers were,
Nuts.
they were scary, scary dudes.
Yeah.
There's my English nerd in me coming out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I just love those movies so much. And you know me. I'm the same way as you. I love Disney, and
Yeah.
so I am excited for The Lion King. But you know.
So speaking of Disney, we attempted something the other day, and it was rather successful. We took the girls to their first movie, and not
Did
to
you
see Aladdin.
Toy Story 4?
We saw Toy Story 4. It was
Did
the
you
first
like it?
time. Thought it was good.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna see it when it comes out,
You know,
too.
it was. It's a little
Don't
tougher with
ruin
the
it for
kids.
me.
No. It's a little tougher with kids because
Oh yeah.
about 4 bathroom breaks each. Had the one started at like an hour into the movie. She wanted to go home, so I had to go get her another drink and nerds to keep her happy. But all in all, it worked out well.
Not bad.
It worked out well. They made it to the end, and that was my thing. I didn't know if they were going to make it to the end.
Are you gonna try to take them to Disney anytime soon? Or are you gonna wait on that until the
Well,
the
they went when
next
they
one?
went when they were 6 months old.
Okay. Do you want to actually take them to Disney soon?
The plan, the thought process is possibly spring.
This year?
You know, the baby
Yeah, I was
will
gonna
be
say.
about 8 months. So the baby will be just a little older than they were the first
Right.
time they went. And it was a dream with them that time because they slept in the stroller every day, and
Yeah.
they were happy. And you know, we didn't put them on a leash like some people do with their kids.
I always tell Joe I'm gonna put him on a leash the next time we go to Disney World so I don't lose him.
So you know, I would hope to take them. I'm hoping maybe the spring it can work out. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
we'll have to
because we're
see.
going in December, and we just hit like the 6 months, so I can start making my dinner reservations. That's the mark we've just
How
hit.
exciting is that?
Oh, I love it. It's my favorite time. I'm excited to go. But now like I hate doing the fast passes in advance because like
Yeah.
I do because first of all, it used to force me to get a little bit of a workout in running to the kiosk in the morning.
You trust me, you get enough of a workout Disney. The problem
Well, yeah,
is
but-
you eat so damn much it totally
That too.
It's counterproductive.
But for me, I like because that one you could just keep. You would go use it and then go get another one, and you know you could just do that all day. This one, it's 3 and you're done, and it makes it so hard with the way that they're tiered that like you can't. It's hard, especially in like busy times. So when my mom and I were there in November, I mean it was virtually impossible to get on anything because they had to like close Magic Kingdom because it was at capacity. That's how many people were there. There were like 100,000 people in Magic Kingdom that day. It was insane.
I'm sure.
We were waiting out like an hour for rides that you shouldn't have to wait an hour for. But yeah, I'm excited to get it planned. I'm excited to go and do all the things.
So the wonderful, thanks a lot, Captain Obvious moment that you tweeted out that you told us about earlier.
Yeah.
So one of my guys in a group chat I'm in tweeted out. He's like, maybe the Sixers, and I said, how about all 30 teams? And then one of the other guys, and I can't repeat the whole thing because it's
Sure.
but he says this just in: multiple men express interest in being handsome and having
Okay.
being well
Yep,
endowed.
Yep.
But it is about as true a statement as that.
Oh
So-
my God. I told you my friend Rob, he's away right now. They're in Sardinia, and they're just posting. Look how beautiful that water is behind them. Like just look at.
No,
I hate you, Rob. I love you, but I hate you.
But Rob, I love you. If you want to bring me the next time, I'm on board. We have the same name. Can make it work.
You also have the same name as Joseph, technically.
I do, but I can't associate Joe with being a Rob because,
He's not.
like I said, I was so confused when I looked up there, and you're like, "That's Joe," and I'm like,
No, it's not.
"No, this is some guy named Rob." It's just even though we've had that conversation before.
Yep. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Joe!
Happy birthday.
Joe, you are getting a shout out from the madness.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
sweetie.
sir. You guys doing anything fun?
He has a 7-on-7 tonight that I am accompanying him to. Apparently, we're
Oh.
taking 2 freshmen with us as well. So
Taking 2 freshmen with you as
that
well.
don't have right because it's in New Hope. It's so far.
New Hope is out
It's
there.
like in the middle of nowhere. So that's where
New Hope
we have
is
to get to after this, which is why we're doing this at this hour.
Yeah, which, listen, I think we've covered all bases.
We have
Jess.
covered all bases today. I think you're right.
I tried to give Keith a chance to call in because he apparently didn't get through. But
Yeah.
that's all right. We've attempted this. I mean, I don't know about you. I just feel like we're pretty much at our wits' end. We've literally been talking about Disney movies and Joe's
Yeah.
birthday for the last 10 minutes.
It's all right. We talked about the Sixers and we talked about the Phillies.
Look,
and
when
they're
we
about
come
all
on
the
next
relevant-
week, Jess,
we'll know. Hopefully.
we will know, and we're going to have a better feel than we did when we knew about LeBron James.
Ugh, I landed
It's
in
going to be
London.
good. We are going to
It's
be
gonna
in good shape.
It's going to be good.
Thank you to
Trust the process.
ProSportsNotes.com. Thank you to WildfireRadio.com. Follow us at Philly_Madness, at RunThisTown13, at JT_media as well. Get over to JessicaTownMedia.com and support my good friend Jess. And who knows, maybe support the show as well a little bit.
Yeah.
We will be back next week. There will not be a month break again, as there was this time.
There wasn't a full month break. There was just a week off. You
Yeah,
just weren't.
I was on a month break.
here. Rob took some time off.
I will not be taking. Well, I say that now. And
He's got a baby
by
on
the
the
way,
way. We're
yeah,
gonna play this
by the
by
way,
ear.
I may not be here next week if this baby happens. Just want to put that out there.
There's a baby incoming.
There's a baby incoming
We're
3
coming in
weeks
for a
away.
landing on
Here
this
we
one.
go. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week. Go Sixers. Go Phillies. Embrace the madness. Have a good week, everybody.
Parody of ecstasy. I was inches from the edge, fingers clinging to the ledge again. I never